For those who have an issue with allergies, emotional trauma, toxic exposure, or spiritual crisis, our specialist is Holly McClenahan. And Holly's going to share about her services now.
Hi, so I'm Holly McClenahan. I own Harmony Health, and you can find me at www.harmonyh.com. First thing I'd like to talk about is allergies. And with allergies, the problem is that there's maybe many allergies that someone has, or they have a reaction to many types of foods or air or animals. And sometimes there is an underlying allergy that is causing all of them to be overreactive. So in testing, what I'll do is find out what is the allergen that's causing the biggest problem for you. So like I said, you might have, like, say, a wheat allergy, and you might have a milk allergy, you might have a cat allergy. Well, I do testing to find out which one is the one that's causing the biggest problem. So I do that by using a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is it's a minor problem, and 10 is the worst it could be for you. So when I find out which allergen is the worst one for you, that's the one we'll start with when we do treatment. I also test allergy zones, and the allergy zones can tell you where you may be having the reaction. So there's a digestive system, which would, of course, as it implies, that you would have issues with your digestion. So certain foods might cause diarrhea or bloating or stomach problems in some way. The other zone is liver zone. And the liver, if it shows up as weak, that zone with the allergen, it may mean that you are not able to process that through the blood very well. So it may weaken the liver. Then I check the spleen, and the spleen is really how your immune system is affected by an allergen. So a lot of allergens can definitely decrease the immune system. And right now in this time, we really need to boost our immune system. So by treating the allergens, you can boost that immune system because it's not causing a stress on it. I also test on a thymus. The thymus is about the energy system, so how energy flows in your body, how you feel energetically. I also check the brain, front, right, left, and back, to see if those areas are weakened by the allergen. So depending on that, you may have depression, anxiety, cloudy thinking, depression even can be part of an allergy. So a lot of times when we think of allergies, we're thinking of the digestive type more than these other zones, but I check all zones. So if an allergen, let's say, is an 8, and it's affecting all zones, it's going to be a more severe allergy that's an 8, but only affecting 2 zones. So we find the one that is the most biggest problem for you, and then that's the one we focus on. Now, I focus on it with treatment with a bioresonance device called the BiCom, and it cancels out the energy of the allergen. And sometimes there's a process to this because there's underlying weaknesses associated with this, like if it's in your weakening the digestive system, maybe I need to do some strengthening of your digestive system so that that can repair itself. And a lot of times, once we've treated the major allergen, the rest of the allergies either go down in number of severity or they're gone completely. That's why we start with the one that's causing the biggest problem first. The benefits of this is that you may be able to eat foods that you were never able to eat before. An example I have is one of my very first clients, when I really didn't even know what I was doing, she was allergic to everything. And she came in, and there were just tons of allergies. Followed this process of treating the one that was the most severe. Once that one was cleared, we go to the next one that is the most severe at that time. And we continued to do that. Worked with her about 6 months, but she's someone that had to carry an epinephrine pen with her because she was allergic to so many things. She never knew when she would have an anaphylactic shock reaction and have to give herself an injection. But after 6 months, the only symptom she had to anything was sniffles to pine. And she said, I can live with that. So it wasn't also about eating things. It was also that she could go out in nature and take walks without having an anaphylactic shock also. So that would definitely be a benefit. Also, brain clarity. A lot of people will experience brain clarity. Some people experience depression, leaving that they had had all their life, and maybe their allergen was only causing a weakness in the brain and nowhere else. Sometimes people have skin inflammations and eczema. They can see that either decrease considerably or resolve completely. A lot of people will complain of sinus drainage. Well, the sinus drainage would be gone. And again, the overreactivity to other types of food would also be something that would not be happening anymore. So that's the one for the allergies. Again, with this, you're welcome to call me and have a chat with me. I have my phone number on the video notes, but my number is 270-206-0198, and you can have a free 15-minute, 30-minute chat with me about your allergies if you want. My fee is $150 an hour, but when anyone comes through me on this site, it will only be $100 an hour. The other health issue I work with is emotional traumas from childhood. Now, childhood traumas a lot of times show up in adults with depression, anxiety, chronic post-traumatic stress, inability to have relationships, phobias, all types of ways it may show up. And it can even affect your health. So a lot of times when I'm doing this, I explain an ACE study that was done by Kaiser Permanente. And there is, I think, also going to be a link to that on the notes below. So when they did the ACE study, it's called Adverse Childhood Experience Study. And this Adverse Childhood Experience Study took about 17,000 people and asked them questions about their childhood. And they were looking for specifically 10 types of childhood traumas. So that might be a death in the family, a divorce, some types of an abuse, things like that. And what they did, they were able to correlate that some health problems were correlated with how much trauma you'd had as a child. And even some of the times, people don't even consider certain things that happen to them to even be a trauma. So we'll help identify that and when you're working with me so that I can see and you can see whether it was traumatic to your system or not and to your emotional growth. But also in this ACE study, they found that there was an increase in people with addictions and health problems, like cardiac problems, not just addictions, but like cardiac problems when they got older. So it's a big correlation on emotional childhood abuse, physical, emotional, sexual abuse can cause some health issues as you get older. And the solution for this, for me, I work with awareness techniques. And this awareness techniques are used to help you resolve the energy of the issue that you're dealing with. And these are really just a training. It's not a treatment, it's a training. I train you how to do this because Lord knows when we get triggered into some stuff that's childhood, it could come from a smell, it could come from the mannerisms someone uses, it could come from anything that we're seeing, and we never know what that is. But so these techniques will also help you become very clear about what it is that is triggering you into an uncomfortable feeling that then maybe causes you to go into depression, anxiety, any type of fear-based reaction. With these awareness techniques, some people, they only need one session and they got it. Other people, it sometimes takes them about 6 months, anywhere in between also. And sessions maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks, and then go home and practice them, and then come back and talk about how that was for you, and evaluate and see where you may need more help in doing the awareness techniques. They're very simple. Children can even do them, and once an adult learns them, they can teach them to their children. So it'd be very useful for a child growing up so they don't grow up with a lot of emotional baggage. Some of the things that benefit that you may receive from this is that you have a peace of mind that maybe you never were able to achieve before. Increase your ability to deal with stressful situations. You may find that something that you were not able to deal with before without it causing you to have very uncomfortable feelings and upset feelings is that you're completely calm with now. It can also improve your health as related to that ACE study. Decrease addictions or eliminate addictions, and increase your feelings of joy and happiness. That's a really great side effect and benefit of this. Yeah, and any phobias, they can also be resolved. Yeah, so the next one is related to emotional trauma as an adult. Now, this could be anxiety, depression, panic attacks. These type of things can be like if you had a parent die or a child die, or you were in a horrific car accident, or you saw something like maybe you were at the Las Vegas shootings and you saw someone killed next to you or injured, or you were terrified of what had happened, and the experience of that continues to linger in your emotional field. So with this, it can be all types of things that are related to what happens to us as adults when we have to experience something that creates a trauma for us. Divorces can also, really nasty divorces can also do this. So the solution to this, again, is those awareness techniques. It's the same thing with childhood traumas. It can also be training. Again, this is a training. It's not a therapy. I train you to do this so that, because I'm not going to be there when you might need some help, because we don't know when you will get triggered or when that might come up for you. But if you have the tools, you can do these awareness techniques anywhere and anytime. And I train you to do that and to do that well. An example of this might be, so I had a patient at one time that she could not cross bridges. She would go into complete panic anxiety attacks. So you can imagine that that would limit her driving quite a bit. And not only that, but she even got to the place where if she even thought that that road might end up on a bridge, she would have a panic anxiety attack. So I began working with her, teaching her the techniques. She did very well in the sessions, but she still was having anxiety as she approached bridges. So we actually took another route, which is I had her go out to her car and begin to drive. I stayed in my office. And as she drove and came close to a bridge and began to feel the panic, I had her pull over and work with her with the awareness techniques. And then she was able to cross the bridge. As we did this, it took every little step of thinking about going to the bridge, going close to the bridge, and now the going over the bridge. So I stayed on the phone with her and continued to walk her through the anxiety she was having about it. She never needed another session. It was completely resolved for her in one session. It was expanded session, of course, because she went out to her car to actually elicit that uncomfortable feeling. But that was just an example. It's something that arose in her as an adult. She wasn't even sure where it came from. It just all of a sudden appeared in her adult life. So that's just an example of what might happen with someone that would be interested in resolving a phobia or something similar to that, such as insurmountable grief years later after losing someone and still can't seem to find the love that's there. Instead, they're still maybe angry, still maybe in deep grief. It can help to resolve that energy also, so all that's left is just the love. The benefits to this are enormous. The benefits are peace and calmness in your life, the ability to handle stressful situations, the awareness of your emotional makeup, the awareness of what your triggers are. It also can help you with meditation, because a lot of times we can't quiet the mind to go into a meditative state because we're thinking about emotional upsets. So instead, I have people resolve the emotional upset. Where they get to when they're done with the process is a very peaceful, calm, expansive place, which is the place of meditation. So it teaches them and trains the brain to create those pathways to be able to even meditate at a much, much deeper level. Also, different health issues that may have arisen because of these emotional traumas as an adult resolved. It's pain, sometimes pain in the body is a result of emotional trauma. So there's better coping skills, neutralize in the moment the negative energy or the energy that's causing the uncomfortable feeling. The next aspect that I work with, and again, this one, by the way, on this one, these are all 100, I'm normally 150 an hour, but with this, if you come in through this, this mechanism, you would just let me know and it'd be 100 an hour for you instead of 150. The next one is toxic exposures. Now, toxic exposures, we all have toxic exposures. We can't get away from it, especially if we live in a city. There's car fumes, there's sometimes mold in the homes, there's all types of plants around you that are spewing out toxins. There's toxins in our water, there's toxins in our food. If you live on a farm, you may be exposed to toxins that relate to Monsanto's weed killer or other types of herbicides and pesticides. You may have mercury in your mouth, and every time you chew, you're releasing more of that mercury into your system, which can also cause overgrowth of candida in the system, in your whole body. So you have a lot of ways that you get toxic exposure, maybe smoking cigarettes, maybe being around and working in a casino where there is smoking and you're getting secondhand smoke all the time. Even though you eat a good diet and you drink water and you exercise, you still can have some of these toxic exposures. And a lot of people have never done cleanses to clean their whole body out. So the actual solution to this for me is that I do a complete bioresonance assessment. And this means I look at your complete energy system and to see where your weaknesses are, but also I'm really looking at the organs of elimination. How are your organs of elimination working? You know, that's our colon, that's our lungs, that's our skin, that's our kidneys. And if we have our organs of elimination aren't working well, we're not going to be getting the toxins out like we normally are able to. And a lot of times we've been around toxins for so long and they keep getting stored in our body. And the intelligence of our body will say, well, let's store them and come back and get them later. But the problem with it is that later never comes. And so we keep getting more and more toxins. And after a while, they build up and then they have a negative effect on how we can clear toxins out of our system. So the first part is really looking at your organs of elimination and getting them strengthened. So it may be that you need certain supplements or a physical cleanse, or but another deeply excellent way of really clearing the negative energy associated with the organs of elimination is by strengthening them again through bioresonance with the BICOM. And again, this is an energy medicine technique. It is a device, and it picks up the frequencies of those harmful frequency information, and it cancels them out and strengthens the harmonious information at the same time. So your body is able to heal itself when it has the energy that it needs. We're all made of energy. Energy is not something new. It's something that's being used all over the world for healing, helping people to heal. So when I'm looking at toxic exposure, also, we're looking at what is the toxic exposure? How did you get it? How long has it been in your system? And it may be it just has a frequency signature, like it is not even in your system anymore, but it imprinted the water of your body, and it's still creating a disruption in the energy flow of your body so that the organs of elimination can heal. There is a video that will be down below that is it's a little movie video related to how bioresonance works. And it has been in use over 30 years in most countries in the world. So this is a lot. It has tons of research behind it. Also on my website, theharmonyh.com, you can find out some of these and read some of these research papers that were done using bioresonance. The benefits of this: resolve your health issues, have strong organs of elimination that can eliminate these toxins. Maybe it has to do that we need to look at how your diet is affecting you being able to clear toxins. And increase your energy and zest for life. I mean, to me, that's the best thing, is that you have energy to live your life. And not only that, but you do it with zest and you're delighted to be alive. So this particular aspect that I work with the toxic exposures, this is a longer session. This is usually anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending on what you're coming to me for. And so this one is normally $400, but if you come in through this mechanism again with our website, then it's only going to be $300 for you. The last one that we're going to talk about is, spiritual crisis. I love this one. This one is maybe, when I say spiritual crisis, a lot of people that go through, it's almost like an identity crisis. Who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose in life? What's my direction in life? Maybe something happened to you that just changed your whole life and your ideas about what you thought spirituality was, and you're confused. You don't know where to turn. You don't know what's right for you. So with this one, I am a Golden Eagle minister. I was ordained by Serge Running Wolf Martel. And so I do counseling related to being a Golden Eagle minister, but I am also an inner greatness coach. And so I combine this coaching and counseling to help you to see what it is that maybe is stopping you from completing this process of awakening your spirituality, understanding your reason for being here, finding your direction that you really gives you life, that makes you sing, that makes you feel joyous and ecstatic and happy. And so with this one, it's very close to my heart, because it's really this counseling, this coaching, it's unique to everyone. And it is beautiful to see people that their benefits are really that they become happy with themselves. They know where they're going in life. They understand why they're here. Maybe they want to talk to some spiritual guides and teachers on other dimensions. Maybe they want to talk to angels. Maybe they want to have some experience of knowing that angels or God or creator is there for them. And in this counseling and this coaching, that's exactly what happens. People begin to trust themselves and trust their decisions for their life. And there's nothing better than that, to be able to trust yourself and know that you're making the right decision for yourself. And so those are the benefits of that. This one is also, a lot of times I'll be working with people when they are in a fear-based reaction to everything. And I help them to see and to shift into love-based reactions and responses. And it's huge for them because sometimes they don't even realize they're coming from fear-based reality. And when they see it, it becomes very obvious. So this is helpful in getting clarity and understanding, and even identify when you are being driven by this fear-based thinking. So these sessions, again, 150 an hour, but for coming in through this mechanism, you are going to at 100 an hour. So it's a real good deal, and I think you would love the experiences that you would have based on all these different things that I do. But really, I work with all kinds of things. Just call me. Call me for a 15-minute consultation. And if it goes over, it's okay. It's free, because I don't mind talking to you. I love talking to people. And yeah, and then, or if you want to just set up an appointment, call me 270-206-0198 and make an appointment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.